My family, he said sarcastically. A great-niece and great-nephew I'd never met until their parents up and died on them. Family indeed. If I wanted children about the place, I'd have had them decades ago.
Bedelia Graves remembered very little from decades ago. Granted, she was only 32, but she felt much older. Perhaps it was because she'd spent so much time trying to forget her childhood that the memory of it seemed farther back than it really was. And what was there to remember, anyway? Loneliness? A dingy flat in Leeds and the desperation to escape a father who treated her more like a servant than a daughter? Her mother had left them when Bedelia was 10, and the memories afterward were, well, not worth remembering. All that changed, however, when Bedelia Graves came to work for the agency at the age of 19. There had been other children, of course, but none like Agatha and Algernon Kojima. And in the 2 years since Oscar Snockett hired her to look after them in his dark and dreary mansion, Bedelia Graves had broken the agency's cardinal rule. She'd grown to love them. The governess cleared her throat and stood up straight. "You've been more than generous, sir. The children are forever in your debt, as am I."
Are you now?
A heavy silence hung about the room, and then Mr. Snockett's wheelchair squeaked and his face sank back into the shadows.
In any event, he said, Blackford House belongs to the twins. I never liked their father. I've made no secret of that, prancing about with his silly puppets. But I've always had a soft spot for my niece, despite her going against my wishes and marrying that fool. Nasty business sometimes, family. But in the end, we Snocketts do take care of our own, no matter how inconvenient.
The old man had popped the final T of inconvenient so sharply that it sounded like a twig snapping. Miss Graves flinched.
I've personally seen to all the necessary arrangements, Mr. Snockett continued. Immigration details, accounts, disbursement of your salary and what not. You and the twins shall be well provided for, but I do not wish to be troubled any further. Do you understand, Miss Graves?
Very much so, sir. Mr. Snockett dangled a large red jeweled pendant into the shaft of light and swung it back and forth like a hypnotist's charm. And for a moment, Miss Graves was hypnotized. She just stood there, blinking, with her mouth ajar. The pendant's single red jewel was glowing.
For good luck on your journey, said Mr. Snockett.
The governess stammered. I cannot accept such a gift, sir.
Take it,
the old man snapped, and Miss Graves obeyed. The red jewel was about the size of a 50-pence coin, but it was no longer glowing. Quite the opposite. The jewel now looked black in Miss Graves' hand, and it was ice cold. The governess shivered.
Wear it, always,
Mr. Snockett said with a magician's wave of his hand, and Miss Graves felt dizzy. She shook her head, blinked, and in the next moment the dizziness lifted, and she clasped the pendant's chain around her neck. She didn't have a choice. After all, one did not refuse a man like Oscar Snockett. 1. The Rightful Heirs. "Take it back!" Lucy shouted, and Billy Mahoney squealed in pain. Lucy was on top of him now, pinning the boy on his stomach and twisting his arm behind his back. Billy tried to wriggle free, but Lucy wedged her thigh under his pudgy elbow and, shifting her weight, cranked his arm higher. Billy howled. "Lucy, stop it!" cried her brother Oliver. But Lucy just ignored him. "You take back what you said, Billy Mahoney, or I'll break your arm." Okay, I take it back." "Take what back?" "Frog face! You're not a frog face!" Lucy let go of Billy and stood up, her fists ready just in case the big mouth wanted to go a second round. But Billy, half dazed and moaning, just rolled over and sat there rubbing his arm. The front of his Captain America t-shirt was filthy, and his chubby, freckled cheeks were beet red. Oliver tried to help him up, but Billy shook him off and rose unsteadily to his feet. "You okay?" Oliver asked. Billy dragged his wrist under his nose. He was breathing hard, and Lucy could tell he was trying not to cry. For a long, tense moment, there was only the buzz of insects and the soft babble of the river.